imagine this conversation. I'll tell you when it will open your eyes. Excuse me. Can you tell me where I can find the African American Museum? Certainly. Are you going by bus, car, or taxi? No. I'm walking so I can learn about the city and about the neighborhoods. Well, that's a long walk, almost 30 blocks. That's fine. Well, the easiest way to go is to walk over to 1 block to Chestnut Street and walk east on Chestnut to 7th and Chestnut Street, and then north on 7th Street to Orange Street, and you're there. Thank you very much. Hey, wait a minute. May I ask you a question? Certainly. I detect that you have an accent. What's your name, and where are you from? My name is Jamie O'Hara, and I'm from Dublin, Ireland. What are you doing here, and why are you going to the African American Museum when we have one of the finest and greatest museums in the world right here on Penn's campus? I'm an officer in the Irish Republican Army, and we have studied the 400-year struggle of the Negro in this country. And I've been to the Penn Museum, I've been to the library and the archives, and it does not give me the personal accounts of what happened here in America with the African or Native American Holocaust. Well, that's not necessary. We're in a post-racial society. We have a black president, and we have a black secretary of state, and a Supreme Court justice, and blacks in Congress, and black mayors, and state legislators, and black millionaires, and black colleges, and black lawyers, and doctors, and I can just go on and on. What do you mean it's not necessary? When millions of Africans were destroyed by having been kidnapped and raped and murdered in their land, and on their lone voyage to America, when tens of thousands of Africans were jailed and beaten and raped and murdered and forced to breed slaves, then torn apart and shipped out to distant states. What do you mean it's not necessary when millions of Native Americans, Mexicans, Hawaiians, Liberians, Asians, Puerto Ricans, and Hawaiians, as well as Haitians, all people of color, who have paid a dear price for you to stand there and to say it doesn't matter? Yes, I'm aware of all the positions that blacks have held in the government, in the courts, and in education and business. I want you to add the total number of those successful blacks, then divide it by 40 million African Americans and Negroes, and tell me what your percent is, laddie. First of all, that's old history, and nobody cares. And secondly, it's black, not blacks. And we don't like being called Negroes. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, no, you didn't go there with me, girlfriend. I guess you'll be telling me that Harry Reid was wrong when he said that Obama could get white votes because he was light-skinned and didn't speak Ebonics. What are you, some kind of black apologist? Look, all I'm saying is we had a civil war and a civil rights struggle in this country. And that settled all of our racial problems. Now it's time to build coalitions and forget the past and fight for cultural diversity and ethnicity and cultural competency. It seems to me that the white liberal and the black apologists are always in denial. Yes, you had a civil war, a revolutionary war, a war of 1812, the First World War, the Second World War, and blacks were denied an opportunity to even fight in those wars. And then you had the Korean War and the Vietnamese War, and they were used for gunpowder. As far as your civil rights movement, ending America's white skin privilege and black skin disadvantage, it didn't happen. And your civil rights movement got hijacked by every other aggrieved group in America who have yet to create a coalition with blacks to totally end all forms of racial imbalance, so that you can help them to attack all other forms of discriminatory practices. Charity begins at home. You want to fight against racial injustice. You want to combat the racial and male contract of America. Whatever. I'm sick of you trying to put my country down. You're a foreigner, and you don't have anything to do with how we run our affairs. Don't give me your mama drama, and you sound like a little pantywaist. Well, hold on up a minute. Well, I'll take care of him. Excuse me. But I couldn't help but overhear what you were saying to this man. You were talking about white supremacy and black victimization, and you act as if there is a crisis of the Negro intellectual. I'll have you know that I've been teaching on this campus for years, and I've seen how we have hired hundreds of colored people to work here in housekeeping and laundry and in the stockroom and janitorial services, as dishwashing and kitchen and technicians and aides and orderlies and secretaries, etc. First of all, I wasn't talking to you. And you look like the type who probably thinks that Ebonics is not a language. And when black children tell other black children to stop acting white, you think they're talking about skin color. You also probably think that the conflict between the black and Asian students in South Philadelphia High School is all about race and not gang-related. How do you explain this when just 20 to 30 children out of 1,000 are involved in that crisis? What do you call it when black students attack other black students? You probably think there has never been any racial strife in the Philadelphia public schools. I'm very much aware about the historical racism against blacks in Philadelphia neighborhoods, like the Northeast and Kensington and Frankfurt and Port Richmond and Bridgeport and Holmesburg, Grace Ferry, Whitman Park, South Philadelphia, Southwest Philadelphia, Overbrook, and Winfield. I'm also aware of the fact that blacks were attacked when they first went to public schools like Bach and Southern and Bartram and Overbrook, Ben Franklin, and the white gangs that attacked blacks like the Dirty Annies in Southwest Philadelphia, the Green Street Counts in Fairmount, and the River Boys at 26 and South Street. So don't try to give me a history about racism in America. So you've been teaching at this campus for years. So that in a bag of chips will get you what? You are being very disrespectful to both of us as black men. And you sound like you have a chip on your shoulders. You talk about white people. What about all the things that blacks do? How about all the Africans and Haitians killing each other? How about the ghettos blacks make? How about their use of drugs and alcohol, violence, burglary, and rape? How about young black girls making babies out of wedlock and staying on welfare? Is that your view of the black community? Is that your view of black women who have been the most injured of all in this racial upheaval in America and who still have to carry the full weight of the black race, including carrying the black man? You need to take a look at yourself. You sound just like Bill Cosby showing off for white people in public to get white acceptance. Bill got a girl pregnant. Did anybody say, who your baby daddy? The problem with you black intellectuals and white liberals is that you try to intellectualize away hundreds of years of pain and suffering. That is so gutless. You know, a recent national poll said that 56% of all blacks were happy after Obama got elected, and they thought things were getting better. What about the 44% who didn't think things were better? What about the 16% of the blacks nationally that are unemployed, twice as many as any whites? What about the fact that after 400 years, blacks still have the highest rates of morbidity, mortality, poverty, hunger, homelessness, uninsured, heart disease, cancer, obesity, stroke, HIV, AIDS, communicable diseases, asthma, lead poisoning, and on and on? Didn't Congress, the Black Congressional Congress, get on Obama about the fact he dared not mention the state of affairs for blacks in America under this present crisis? Remember, you must measure the success of a society by the way you treat your most vulnerable populations, or the least of those amongst you. What are you and your university doing to help fight against systemic and institutional racism that creates and contributes to these conditions? Well, we have required courses on cultural diversity for all incoming students. We have an African history department, and we have an Africana studies department, and our School of Social Work has the first in the nation to have a mandatory course on American race